Why is Achilles in the Underworld? The real story explained. Warning: this video contains spoilers from Greek mythology, Homer's Iliad, the Odyssey, and Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. If you're avoiding mythology spoilers, this is your warning. Now, let's explain. Imagine becoming the greatest warrior the world has ever known. Your name is feared by every enemy. Kings depend on your strength. Songs are written about your victories. You achieve everything a hero could ever dream of. But then, after death, you find yourself in the underworld, not ruling beside the gods, not enjoying eternal glory. Instead, you wander among countless spirits in a dark kingdom where even the greatest heroes become shadows of their former selves. That is exactly what happened to Achilles. Many people believe that because Achilles was the son of the sea goddess Thetis and the greatest warrior of the Trojan War, he must have been rewarded with a glorious afterlife. But Homer's Odyssey tells a very different story. When Odysseus journeys into the land of the dead, he meets Achilles, and what the legendary warrior says becomes one of the most emotional moments in all of Greek mythology. Instead of celebrating his fame, Achilles makes a heartbreaking confession. He says he would rather live as the poorest servant on earth than rule over every soul in the underworld. So why is Achilles there? Why wasn't he granted a place among the gods? And what does his tragic fate reveal about the true meaning of heroism? Let's explain. Achilles was destined for greatness. From the moment Achilles was born, his life was surrounded by prophecy. He was the son of the mortal king Peleus and the sea goddess Thetis. Because his mother was divine, many believed Achilles would become unlike any ordinary human. Ancient legends even describe Thetis trying to protect her son from death. One famous tradition says she dipped the infant Achilles into the river Styx, making his body nearly invulnerable, except for the heel by which she held him. Although this story became famous centuries later, Homer himself never mentions the river Styx or the so-called Achilles heel. What Homer does emphasize is something even more important. Achilles faced a choice. He could live a long, peaceful life and eventually be forgotten, or he could die young in battle and achieve everlasting fame. Achilles knowingly chose glory over a long life. That decision would define his destiny forever. The death of Achilles. Interestingly, Achilles' death does not occur in Homer's Iliad. The poem ends shortly after Hector's funeral. Later, Greek myths explain what happened next. After defeating Hector, Achilles continued fighting outside the walls of Troy. During one battle, Paris, the Trojan prince whose actions helped begin the war, fired an arrow toward Achilles. The god Apollo is said to have guided the arrow. It struck Achilles in his vulnerable heel, causing the greatest warrior in Greece to fall. Whether the heel story is interpreted literally or symbolically, the message remains the same. Even the mightiest hero could not escape fate. Achilles' strength made him legendary. But it could not make him immortal. Where did Achilles go after death? After his death, Achilles' spirit traveled to the underworld. In Greek mythology, nearly every mortal entered the realm ruled by Hades. Unlike many modern ideas about heaven and hell, the Greek underworld was not divided simply between good and evil. Most ordinary people became shades, shadow-like spirits who remembered fragments of their former lives. Heroes and kings were not automatically treated differently. Even someone as famous as Achilles entered this mysterious kingdom of the dead. That surprises many people. After everything he accomplished, why wasn't he rewarded with something greater? The answer lies in Homer's understanding of mortality. No matter how powerful someone became during life, death eventually humbled everyone. Odysseus meets Achilles. One of the most unforgettable moments in the Odyssey occurs during Odysseus' journey to the underworld. Seeking guidance for his voyage home, Odysseus speaks with several famous spirits. Among them is Achilles. Odysseus expects to meet a triumphant hero whose legendary victories have earned him eternal satisfaction. Instead, he encounters someone filled with sadness. Trying to comfort him, Odysseus praises Achilles, saying no man was more honored among the living and no soul more respected among the dead. But Achilles immediately rejects that idea. He tells Odysseus something that has echoed across history for thousands of years. He would rather live as a poor laborer serving another man then rule over every spirit in the underworld. It is one of the most powerful lines in all of Greek literature. For the first time, Achilles admits that glory came at an enormous cost. Why did Achilles regret his choice? When Achilles was alive, he believed eternal fame was worth sacrificing everything else. He accepted a short life because he wanted his name to be remembered forever, and in many ways, he succeeded. Thousands of years later, people still know who Achilles was. Yet in the underworld, fame brings him no comfort. He cannot enjoy his victories. He cannot return to his family. He cannot experience another sunrise. His legendary reputation belongs to the living. He belongs to the dead. That realization transforms the meaning of his entire story. The greatest warrior in history discovers that life itself is more valuable than endless glory. Was Achilles punished? Some people believe Achilles was punished for his pride or his actions during the Trojan War. But Homer's poem doesn't present the underworld as a punishment. Instead, it is simply the destination awaiting nearly every mortal. Achilles is not suffering because the gods are seeking revenge. He is mourning the life he willingly gave up. His sadness comes from understanding that no amount of fame can replace the experience of being alive. This distinction is important. Achilles is not condemned because he failed. He is grieving because he finally understands the true cost of the choice he made. Did Achilles ever leave the underworld? Later, Greek traditions offer different versions of Achilles' afterlife. Some myths claim the gods eventually transferred him to the Isles of the Blessed, a paradise reserved for exceptional heroes. There, Achilles is said to have found peace, and even reunited with other legendary figures. However, this is not the version found in Homer's Odyssey. Christopher Nolan's adaptation follows the Homeric tradition, where Odysseus encounters Achilles in the underworld during one of the story's most emotional scenes. That meeting serves as a warning. It reminds Odysseus that fame and victory mean very little if they cost everything that truly matters. Why this scene matters in Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. Although Achilles appears only briefly, his conversation with Odysseus carries enormous emotional weight. Throughout the film, Odysseus struggles to reach his wife Penelope and his son Telemachus. Unlike Achilles, Odysseus doesn't seek eternal glory. He simply wants to go home. Meeting Achilles reinforces that goal. The greatest warrior who ever lived has already learned the lesson Odysseus is still trying to understand. Family, home, life itself. These are treasures greater than fame. It's one of the reasons the underworld sequence remains one of the most meaningful chapters in the Odyssey. Final thoughts. So, why is Achilles in the underworld? Because despite his divine ancestry and unmatched heroism, he was still mortal. After dying in the Trojan War, his spirit entered the realm of Hades like nearly every other human. But what makes Achilles unforgettable isn't simply where he went after death. It's what he realized once he got there. The warrior who sacrificed everything for everlasting glory ultimately discovered that even the humblest life is more precious than endless fame without the chance to truly live. That heartbreaking realization transforms Achilles from an unstoppable warrior into one of mythology's most deeply human characters. What do you think? If you had Achilles' choice, would you choose a long, ordinary life or a short life, remembered forever? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more The Odyssey explainers, Greek mythology stories, movie breakdowns, and hidden details. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.